to this deuterium. Sorry, I was going to say, let's go back to this deuterium, because what I'm seeing is I've talked about how. Okay, so where do I start? I've talked about how this whole shebang started in the sense of Mu's left the pleroma. We can talk about how that happened, but Mu's left the pleroma. She's gone into the solidity of the, the galactic juju, blah, blah, blah. What I'm saying is these Archons that were activated or ignited through her life force, in the past, the myth is she gave them her intellect. No, we know who gave them the intellect, right?
Yeah,
hang on a sec. In that, right, here we are. Here's this construct. The whole nature of the construct is entropy and atrophy. That's why they keep needing more things to piggyback on, because they have no life force, right? So it's almost like deuterium is the interface holding organic life force inside the matrix.
Okay.
Yeah. When you think about, because we were talking about having babies, and it, like your experience is that in LeMURA we didn't have to go through the birthing process. There was none of that. So tell me your story about what you found out about deuterium, because I love it.
Well,
I've only heard it.
It was mainly because you were so obsessed with it, right? I was like, fucking Jesus, because I seriously couldn't. I wasn't gelling with it, and it wasn't that I was not seeing the logic in what you were saying. It was just like it didn't come from my timeline, right? And then when I started to look at it was I saw that this is another timeline that's merged with ours, and this deuterium is how they did it. Right now, remember how you were saying it wasn't discovered until the 30s or something, last century? Can you believe we're talking about last century? I mean, my God, right? What was I saying? Sorry, I was all freaked out about last century.
So you discovered it was merged into this timeline.
So then when I went in, I was like, Pete Benil's a Stargate to the essence of this deuterium. I found it to be the very thing that whenever I'm trying to disconnect someone from the matrix is what I pull out. It has its own entity, its own identity. It has its own thought form to survive. So,
and that's obviously to control a spire EMF. So you put the two together, it's a necessary component. And when you add it in with the fact that okay, babies need it for growth, but if we didn't have babies in LeMURA, then it wasn't ever needed, was it? So
it's almost like this is how you enter the matrix, through vaginal birth.
Because when I found out in your book, that we really didn't have kids before, I could never imagine myself getting pregnant. It always seemed a bit alien and really.
To extrapolate on that one, all right? What'd she say? What I'm saying is, in the consciousness of LeMURA, the physicality was different, the dreaming was different. The way we brought in another consciousness was, first of all, with the blessing of the collective, because the collective was affected by entry of another consciousness. So it was very supported and also celebrated. People...
Yeah, pretty interesting. Yeah.
And what would happen is two of the beings or whoever was going to create this or have, it was basically essence to essence. So we're not talking about sex. So, I mean, you and I could create something, we didn't have to root. What I mean is, in essence to essence, it would be qualities of your essence, qualities of mine. Actually, that's not true. There had to be an opposite charge. So, no, it couldn't be you, darling, but maybe someone down the So what I mean is, excuse me, we would go into the Ramutet, first with ourselves and Mu and Ra, and then with each other. And in that, we would weave a vortex. And in the vortex, the essence's consciousness would come. And from there, it would sit in the folds of Mu, acclimatizing, if you will. And in that, it would then literally walk out into the ethers with us. I'm using 3D matrix terms. It would literally then become part of the consciousness, the collective, the closed dreaming, and have an experience. Again, physicality wasn't like this. There was a physical experience. We have a template for that place. But it's really hard to say it without imagining this version of it. You know, like this 3D, what we've been instructed to know. That brings me to, I remember you were telling me you were listening to some people on the radio, and one of the things that they said was this is a creation of AI, this template. Now, regardless of whether or not it is, right, in my opinion, consciousness rules the template.
And I so get what you mean now. I really do. Great. Now I've read your book, your second book.
Give it back to me. No, I mean, how did it impact you? What was your discoveries?
Well, I really, you know, like I've heard you say consciousness rules the template many times, but it's really starting to sink now when you realise that the Annunaki, it's what's inside and running it depends to what happens, you know. So they're trying to find out what makes us. Well, they're trying to drill down into this template to discover how they can use and abuse it themselves, but they won't ever be able to because it's about the consciousness that's in the template.
Well, the thing is, right, they can put all these EMFs on us, they can do what they do, etc. Right? Now, if as the consciousness, you're sitting in this soup shit and going, fuck, I can't get out of this, you've gone into victim, you're never going to. As soon as you start to say, hey, this is my fucking life, this is my template that I'm inhabiting. No. I can have and be and do what I want. This consciousness is endless. It creates. Why can't I open the DNA and have a perfected template? Why can't I? These fuckers aren't going to stop me. I can take their energy in, reverse engineer it, and make it work for this template because I'm running the fucking show. Do you know what I mean?
The other interesting thing that from studying what's out there, all the Anunnaki out there proclaiming they're organic creator beings, and we're saying we're organic creator beings, but they're also they're sensing what's around them, and their conclusion is that we're in some kind of computer simulation. And I was thinking about that, and I was thinking today, like, I suppose they are, aren't they? For them, that's what it is.
I mean, when you read that second book that I've just about finished-ish, and you know, I actually talk about how it's formed. I don't just say, we're in a simulation. I actually talk about how the fucking simulation's formed. Do you know what I mean? I can't stand these people making these grand, we're inorganic, we're organic, well, what are those things? You know, they're just catchphrases that they relay, and then they start this Anunnaki zeitgeist of, this is the truth.
It's like a hall of mirrors out there, looking at all the information. It's like, it's really confusing because the only people out there saying we're organic creator beings are the inorganic. But they've got enough, a lot of them don't know who they are. So,
because they're looking outside of themselves to find it. Fucking losers. Oh, love and love.
Well, the weirdest thing is they don't know who they are. So it's a lot of, like, I was going to ask this, like, do you think once they realise who they are, that they'll think, oh shit, what have I been doing? Or do you think they'll be like, oh, that's the agenda, carry on with it?
It depends, I think.
Yeah, I don't think there's one straight answer, but I know that they always love saying we're all one.
Oh, they all love we are one.
And they love saying that because no one ever talks about organic or inorganic. Only food they talk about whether it's organic, but not consciousness.
Well, do you know, I found some people that do talk about it, but what they classify is the total AI things, yeah? They classify them as inorganic, but then they're lumping together the Anunnaki with the A11s and the A10s and everything.
So
it's like,
they think they're look. Okay, so to give some background here. All right. So we had a closed dreaming. Then we went on the original moon. Then we went to AtlanRA, which became an open dreaming, which meant that we could have other beings come into our original dreaming. In that, they couldn't reproduce or enter the dreaming the way we did in LeMURA. So AtlanRA was formed and vaginal birth was formed, and that's how it happened, or how they got into the dreaming. Which bit am I up to? I was doing a backstory and I fucking got excited about myself on the backstory.
You took me off somewhere.
Oh,
too.
sorry.
Well, you were talking about the organic, inorganic, and the Annunaki.
Oh, yes, sorry. Thank you, darling. So when the Annunaki first approached us to enter this AtlanRA, they knew that they were Archon interfaced. They wanted us to help them get rid of these Archons.
Oh.
Right? That was the hook.
But did they, or is that what they pretended?
Well, there was many angles, right? It was like, how do they manipulate our emotional journey to let them in? Well, of course, in our compassion, we go, yeah, right? So there was that. There was also that refugee status coming from Sirius. You know, there was a few things. Oh, sorry, I thought you got up. Come over here.
I moved my phone.
It's enough. So there was the status, the refugee status. Yeah. So here they are now in AtlanRA with piggybacking this Archon, right? And so to get back to that, these Annunaki were an original A10 template. They began to interface with this Archon consciousness. And in that, they used technology as the interface. And in that, they began to drain their life force to run this technology. And then it became a perpetuating thing that they then needed to find something to piggyback on. They found us here on Mu. Right? We're a great source of life force because we can dream simultaneously. They fucking can't. That's what they're trying to find. And the only way you're going to get that is to be part of the original dreaming on Mu.
And there's two things that sprung to mind from that. Like, firstly, most of the Anunnaki out there are warning against the AI. Do you think that's genuine? Do you think they've really had enough of it? Because they don't know that they've got it, obviously. So, to be clear,
they're warning against the AI while they're talking on AI?
Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
So, basically, like, when I've studied what's out there, the material that's out there, all I can find is a load of Anunnaki saying, we're organic creator beings and the AI is out to get us, but they don't even realise that they've got the AI.
But you see, when they say a few things that people resonate to, right, it's like they might say 50% of stuff that's right or that people have a resonance to. So then people listen and then they slip it in. So then they might say, but the AI, how can we live without it? Well, you can. But do you know what I mean? So it's like they come from this victim status where everybody just feels like we're in such a shitty world and we'll never get away. A lot of them, they just pursue the party line. It's their reality. It's like the Enki Enlil creation story is their creation story, not ours.
Yeah, you see, I've noticed all the victims like saying, "Oh, I've been cloned and I've been in the underground facilities," and they're acting like the big heroes who've really suffered at the hands of the AI. And they're
do you think that those people would be allowed to live?
Yeah. So why are they letting that information out? Do you think?
Well, how many people have taken the information and done something with it, or taken the information, got like scared and then spread it? Oh no, I could be cloned. I better not use my phone. Oh God. There's a nice paranoia. Yeah. Let me feed from that. And in that paranoia, the openings come. Things can only hold if you have emotional charge to hold them. Right? So when these people talk, are they talking with hope? No, they're talking with, holy shit, man, we're fucked. Look what they've done to us. They might have done you whatever, but why can't it be that we said, all right, I know exactly what you're doing. Take me and I'll Trojan horse you. I'll fuck you to the end of the earth, so to speak. Why can't it be that we said, okay, as an A11, we'll come here, run your realities, and then I'll fuck your realities. Not only that, I'll take it over. And suddenly we've got all these little Mu satellites. A new galaxy for Mu. The Mu galaxy. I mean, that probably makes more sense if you read my second book, but anyway.